Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. Father Robert or Father Patrick will start with a prayer.
Sure. In the name of the Father, Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening to come together and to listen and to reflect on this wonderful pilgrimage that we are going to embark. We ask that you continue to guide us and continue to inspire us. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
So before we begin, I'll introduce Peter's Way. We have used Peter's Way in this parish numerous times. I can only say the best about them. Their accommodations, their tour guides, everything is pristine and exactly the way you would want it to be. The only thing is tiring. It's a pilgrimage, so it's not a vacation. So just so you know that you're aware of that. But I can honestly say that compared to other tour companies, they are always coming tops. So this is just a presentation. Father Patrick will lock the doors before you leave, and you'll have to sign up and make sure that we get your money. Most important thing. But feel free to ask questions if you have them. Just try and speak up louder. But they'll do their presentation, and then we will have time for questions and answers. Did everybody get one of these? Okay. So I'll turn it over to Karen.
Great. Thank you, Phil. It's good to be back here at Our Lady of Lourdes. Yes, I have been here before. When Peter and I were pulling up, we recognized everything about your church and your neighborhood. So it's good to be back here with all of you. And exciting to be presenting this parish pilgrimage to France in honor of the 100th anniversary of your parish, Our Lady of Lourdes. And what a beautiful way to celebrate that anniversary by paying homage to Our Lady by including a visit to Lourdes in your itinerary. Peter Bahu, for anyone who hasn't met him before, he's the president and owner of Peter's Way Tours. And Peter will present the itinerary details to you. I'm just going to go through some logistics, the procedure for enrolling in the pilgrimage, and then after we both present our various parts, we welcome any questions that you have. So I'm going to start with just some basic information that you're going to find here in your brochure. And just to make sure, can I see if anyone, hands up for anyone who does not have the brochure? Because we have extra copies in the front, and also feel free to take one with you this evening to share with a friend or family member who might also be interested in joining the pilgrimage. Okay, so we are going to start with the cover. We have the pilgrimage dates, July 7th to the 16th, 2024. We have requested all of the accommodations, airline arrangements. What you see in the brochure is still tentative. The flights cannot be confirmed until this August. So once we confirm the flights, we'll be updating brochures. But the tentative flight schedule that we're going to request is in here. So that's going to be, if not the same schedule, very similar to that. You'll see in the bottom box right here, travel package inclusions. So that lists the content of what's included in your travel package. We are including round-trip economy class airfare from New York, and we're planning to. And we use Air France because they're the only airline that does that in-between flight from Paris to Lourdes. So to make that a comfortable transition, getting to Lourdes, we prefer to use a flight, not by bus or train. So we use Air France in order to make that go smoothly for you. We are going to include deluxe motor coach transportation upon arrival and for the entire tour. So also by a show of hands, if I might, has anybody here been on a pilgrimage before? Okay, and for those who haven't, can I just see? So if you haven't been on a pilgrimage, the way that it works for Peter's Way Tours is we handle everything. We handle all of the logistics, and you basically just have to show up at the airport on time. And somebody will be there from our office to assist you with checking in. So you have assistance 24/7. Once you arrive in Paris, you will be met by a tour manager. In France, you're going to have a tour manager and site guides. In some places, if you've been on pilgrimage before, your tour manager may have also been your guide. But in France, there are site guides, professional guides who are trained specifically for specific sites. So you'll be met by your tour manager, who is basically the person who is going to handle the logistics, facilitating the smooth movement of the group throughout the pilgrimage, and they're like your 24/7 go-to person while you're traveling. They meet you when you arrive. They bring you to your private coach. It'll be a 55-seater, Peter, is that correct? Will they have a 55-seater bus? And so you're going to have that bus with you. It's a private coach, and you'll have that private transportation throughout the pilgrimage. And you'll have a driver who will be with you for you'll have a different bus and driver once you get to Lourdes. But for the other part of France, you're going to have a driver and tour manager who's going to be with you the whole time. We have included 8 nights accommodations. You're going to stay in a total of 4 hotels. You'll have 2 nights in Lourdes. When you arrive in Paris, you're going to continue directly to Lourdes. You'll have 2 nights in Lourdes, 1 night in Mont Saint-Michel. That's when you're going to be visiting the coast of France. Then you'll be 1 night in Lisieux, and then you're going to be ending your pilgrimage with 4 nights in Paris. And like I said, Peter will go through the itinerary in a little bit more detail, but those are the hotel accommodations that we've made. You'll be in 4-star hotels, lovely properties, mostly centrally located. Women don't have to worry about things like bringing a hairdryer, that kind of thing. You'll have all the amenities at the hotels that we've arranged for you. You're going to have a buffet breakfast and dinner daily, so that's also included in the cost of your travel package. And the only thing that's not included in the cost of your package would be lunch on a daily basis. You'll have some free time. Your tour manager is really going to be giving you the direction in terms of where to go, how to go, and for people who are on various budgets, you'll be able to figure out how you're going to have your lunch each day. Another cost that's not included is gratuities. Gratuities it's standard, or we provide you with the standard amount of gratuities that we recommend, and then you're free to tip as you see fit. So you can expect to bring along, we suggest an additional $100 to cover the tips for your tour manager, your drivers, and the site guides. You'll see on page 2 the enrollment form. Right here, we offer 2 packages. We offer the all-inclusive package, and we offer a land-only package. The all-inclusive package includes round-trip airfare. The land-only package is just for the land arrangements. This is for people who might have frequent flyer miles, belong to, they're a preferred traveler with one of the airlines, and if you want to make your own travel arrangements, you can do that. You can purchase the land-only package. The only thing I want to say about that is it can be a little tricky with this particular itinerary, because whenever you have an interior flight in the itinerary, you're also responsible for that, and it's not always easy to coordinate that on your own. So if unless you're very savvy, I do suggest that you consider the all-inclusive package so that all of the flights will be included. You'll be with the group the whole time. We have a cash discounted price. So you'll see there's a credit card price and a cash discounted price. The credit card price is $200 higher than the cash discounted price. And to qualify for the cash discount, we just ask that all of your payments are submitted to us by check. So you would be mailing in your enrollment form with a check with your initially with your $500 deposit, and then your final payment would also have to be made be submitted by check in order to qualify for the cash discounted price. We do offer a option to request a single room for anybody who is interested. Single rooms are somewhat limited when we are making arrangements for groups, so they're kind of provided on a first-come, first-served basis. So if you do request a single room, most of the time we can confirm it, and if we do confirm that, there would be a single supplement of $995 for anybody who requests, and we're able to confirm that single room. Next, you'll see that there is optional travel insurance. It's a very good travel insurance policy. It's comprehensive. It covers everything from medical to trip interruption, baggage delay, damage to baggage, things like that. There is a copy of it online. If you go to our website, you would be able to review the coverage of what that travel insurance policy covers. So the cost of that policy based on the standard amount of the trip is $328. You can see that there. If you choose to purchase it, if you know you want to purchase it, we suggest that you send that in with your deposit. If you're not sure, you're not sure if you want to purchase it, you have up until the time that you make your final payment in order to purchase the insurance. Once you've made your final payment, everything gets submitted to the insurance company, and you can no longer purchase insurance once you've submitted your final payment. So just want to make sure that part is clear. And now, if anybody's interested in yes. So the question is the $328 per person? Yes, that's $328 for travel protection per person. And again, the coverage, you can see what is covered in that policy. That's listed in our on our website online. Yes.
The deposit and the travel protection of $328
Mm-hmm.
adds up to $828, and it says the quote is $803.
Let's see. So somebody didn't do the math right. We can make that correction. It's $328, so yeah. Our apologies, but good eye. If there's any other questions while I'm speaking or while Peter is speaking, feel free just to raise your hand. Yes.
As far as spending money over there, it would be euros, right?
Yes, the currency is euros. We typically recommend when all the meals are included in a program, you have breakfast and dinner daily, when all you're going to need the additional money for is lunches and your tips, we typically recommend like $300. Getting that converted into euros either before you travel, or the tour manager will make arrangements for people to exchange money when you get there, if there's enough people who haven't done that ahead of time. But it is helpful to do it ahead of time if you're able to do so. Yes. Oh, you mean a cash discount for the single supplement? We just cash discount the main price. So it's $9.95 whether you're paying by credit card or cash for the single supplement. Yes. Can you repeat that? Oh, okay. The question is, if you purchase the land-only package, where will you meet up? So if you're making your own airline arrangements? You have a group manager in our office. So Peter and I are on the sales part of things at Peter's Way Tours, and then we have our operations department. And you're going to have a group manager who will be assisting all of you with all of your enrollments will go through her. She's the one who does all of the communicating with you, and she would ask anybody who is a land-only participant to submit the flight arrangements that you would make on your own, and then she can assist you with meeting up with the group.
Let me just add something on that question. The airline transportation are not in range yet. Okay, you cannot book any airline transportation. They will be in range in August. Usually the airline works with 330 days. So you're not gonna find any airline transportation. And what I gave you here, I gave you the schedule that Air France have, but that could change. When the time comes in August, I will have the proper information, proper flight, and all those who send a deposit in, they will get the new information about the flight. If the flight did not change, they will tell you the flight did not change as per program. Okay, but I expect some adjustment because the airline constantly adjusting flight, adding flight, canceling flight. So I suggest wait until we have, and then you can book your own. If you arrive on the same flight or you arrive earlier, just wait when the group flight comes in and you will be with them, going with them, yeah. Because the arrival is in Pau, Tabriz Airport. Pau Airport to Lourdes, I will say approximately 35 minutes. It's not really in Lourdes. It's the big airport outside Lourdes. And if you take a taxi, it probably will cost you 100 euros to get into Lourdes. So I suggest to arrive with the group the same time or maybe a little earlier, wait for the group to come in. That's my suggestion into that.
I just want to say one more thing about anybody who might be thinking about land only. We always recommend that you don't purchase your airline tickets until the group is confirmed to travel. And what do I mean by that? We have an enrollment deadline. It is set for September 1st. Everything here you can see at the bottom, in the blue box on the bottom here, that everything is based on a minimum of 35 participants. So we are looking to confirm 35 travelers, and then once we have the 35 travelers, we kind of call it, the group has officially materialized. Then we send out welcome documents to the entire group saying, okay, we have 35 people, the group is a go, because you never know what could happen. Something could happen, something could come up and he might decide we have to cancel the trip. Something could happen and you have to leave, some room open for that possibility. So for people who are purchasing their own air, we don't want you to do that until it's official. We're going, we have the people, see what I'm saying? Because that's non-refundable and you don't want to be in that position. Okay, a few more points about the enrollment procedure. You're going to be sending in a copy of the enrollment form with your deposit of $500. September 1st is, that would be good. The sooner we have the number of people, the better. But if by September 1st we don't have 30 to 35 people, we're probably going to extend the deadline a little bit. We're going to be confirming the airline arrangements in August and updating the brochure a bit. So we're probably going to be extending that enrollment deadline based on where we are with the numbers. So you can keep that in mind as well. Everyone's going to need a valid passport to travel. Your passport has to be valid for 6 months after you return. So you want to check your passports now, make sure it's valid, and it's going to be valid up until 6 months after July 16th. We are going to require copies of the photo. We do send the passport information to the airline ahead of time, to all of the hotels ahead of time. Having all of that information in our office is very important. So, and the group manager, again, will be collecting all of that pertinent information that's going to be required from you. There is a place on the enrollment form where you can indicate if you have a roommate, if you would like to room with somebody, please include that name on your enrollment form. All pricing is based on double occupancy. So if you are a traveler that wants to pay the price of, you don't want to be in a single room, you want a roommate, but you don't have a roommate, we're going to do our best to pair you to make sure that you have a roommate, female to a female and male to male. So, but we can't guarantee it. So we just want to make sure that you read the terms and conditions completely. I know it's a lot of words and it can be a little boring, but it's just important to understand little things like that. Because if you have enrolled, you want a roommate and we can't pair you with one, then it becomes what we call a forced single. You have to be in a single room because we don't have someone to pair you with. And then you're going to be billed the single supplement. So important to understand, knowing that we do our best to get you that roommate, but we can't guarantee it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm ready to hand things over to you, Peter, if you are ready to go through the itinerary. And again, any questions? That's what we're here for. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here with you and to discuss the program. I'm going to go over the day-by-day itinerary. You probably have to open the brochure so I can, if you have any further questions, I will welcome any questions you have. Back again on the airline, I think you do understand that those are just a template of Air France, the flights that they have into Lourdes and back from Paris. It could change, but we will let you know. I think Caitlin in the office is handling the file, and she will let you know if we have those flights or adjustments to the flights that we're going to have. Now, the schedule that I have in there, probably I picked up the best schedule that Air France have. The flight departs out of Kennedy Airport at almost 8 p.m. It gets you into Paris, Orly at 9:30. And then the connection out of Orly an hour and a half later, it puts you into Pau around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Pau is the airport, the large airport of Lourdes, approximately 35 minutes away from Lourdes. France, I suggest look at the map of France just to see how much you are covering. We go all the way to south of France. We are on the border of Spain, and then we go up, flying up into Paris, and go all the way into the west, which is we covering the Normandy area, Mount Saint-Michel, coming back into Paris, and then we have a day going into Nevers, and day to Nevers approximately three hours by bus each direction going to Nevers. So I'm going into day 2 of the program. The luggage, by the way, you check in the luggage here at Kennedy Airport with Air France, and the luggage goes all the way to Pau. You don't have to pick up the luggage in Paris. All the luggage goes into Lourdes, and there where the tour manager will meet you, pick you up, and take you into the hotel in Lourdes. By the time you get in, the hotels is ready. You will check in at the hotel, have a dinner, and then will be the first night where you're going to experience the candlelight procession. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Knights of Malta. The Knights of Malta, the mission of Knights of Malta, every year they take a wide-body aircraft and they go into Lourdes. They bring the Malad into Lourdes. And this year is the in Lourdes. They closed the bath because of the situation of the COVID, so they opened it this year. So you are safe for next year going into Lourdes. So the first night you'll have the dinner, you check in, have a dinner, and the candlelight procession start around 9 o'clock after dinner, and you will join the crowd into the candlelight procession for the first evening. The second evening in Lourdes is usually we start with Mass at the Grotto, and the Mass at the Grotto usually, I would say a week before or 2 weeks before arrival, they usually have the schedule of the Masses. And the Grotto of Lourdes The mass is going every hour, on the hour, different languages. So we come in when the English language comes in, and whether it will be 8 or 9, the tour manager will coordinate, will bring you into the grotto for that mass. And after mass, you will have the half-day tour walking in the footsteps of Saint Bernadette. Saint Bernadette have 18 apparitions from the Virgin Mary into Lourdes. So you're going really to visit all the sites that are associated with her, and back again into the shrine. You want to do confessions, you want to do Station of the Cross and Eucharistic adoration. And again, back to the hotel, you have dinner and candlelight procession at 9 o'clock. You will join the crowd in the candlelight procession. Those are the 2 days that we are in Lourdes, the first 2 days. The following day, I'm moving into day 4, which is July 10. From Lourdes, we're going into Mount Saint Michel. So we fly up to Paris. I chose a flight that really leaves, you don't want you to get very early in the morning. You might have to get early in the morning, we'll know later on. That flight leaves right now at 10 a.m. It gets to 11:30 into Paris. So I have enough time from the airport to start to visit the Cathedral of Chartres, that magnificent cathedral. They're going to visit with that. And from there, we have approximately 2.5 hours going into Mount Saint Michel. Mount Saint Michel is a causeway. Actually, on the picture, if you see it in the back, that's Mount Saint Michel. That's the picture of Mount Saint Michel. It's a causeway which the buses comes as close as possible, and then local bus from Mount Saint Michel picks you up and the luggage and bring you right into the island of Mount Saint Michel. And that's where you have the night, the third night. Now, the first 2 nights, you're staying at Hotel Mercure. It's a 4-star property, fine property, Hotel Mercure in Lourdes. And also I chose the Hotel Mercure, the same chain at Mount Saint Michel. That will be the night for you in Mount Saint Michel. The following day, moving into day 5, Thursday, July 11, the morning is dedicated to the island of Mount Saint Michel. Usually you're going to get in the evening there. Perhaps after dinner, you want to walk out into the island for vendors or buy a few things where you're in Mount Saint Michel. The morning is Mass and also the tour of the Abbey and St. Peter's Church, 2 visits that we're doing in Mount Saint Michel. And then I'm taking you to D-Day, approximately 2-hour bus ride. I'm bringing you to the beaches where all happened during World War II. That's the D-Day, including the cemetery. You'll visit cemetery. Prayer will have at the cemetery. By the way, the program will have a daily liturgies. Okay, most of the liturgies are private. Just the one that's not private probably will be in the Grotto of Lourdes. Okay, you will join in with all the English languages, but all the other masses is private masses. Father will celebrate the masses for you. I am moving into day 6, actually, the 12th of July. We are the overnight, we are in Lisieux, which is that associated with Saint Therese. And that's the morning is dedicated to the shrine of Saint Therese, that the basilica that you're visiting. We will have a mass at the crypt. And from there, we go into the Carmel, where she is lived at the Carmel, actually, and La Bissonnette. La Bissonnette, it's a good thing you're not going this year, because La Bissonnette is under construction this year, and hopefully it will be over by end of the year. So next year we'll see La Bissonnette as well. And that day we come into Paris. That's dedicated in the morning, half day in Lisieux, and the evening I bring you to Paris, and I put in Giverny Garden. It's a beautiful garden that perhaps you will visit before I get you into Paris. All right? If you have any question there, just go ahead, stop me and ask, please. Day 7, it's dedicated actually to the shrines. We're starting with the Miraculous Medal, Mass at the Church of the Miraculous Medal. Then we go to St. Vincent de Paul, just next to it, the shrine of St. Vincent de Paul. From there, we walk into the Notre Dame. Unfortunately, as you know, the Notre Dame, with the fire that happened in Notre Dame, we cannot visit the inside. However, the facade is you can visit the facade, walking around The rumors is they might be opening in December of 2024, the Notre Dame. But I'm giving you something very special. We're visiting the Saint-Chapelle, and that's what you're going to visit, and that's really a retreat to visit that. So that will be dedicated for the morning hour until 1 o'clock. We break for lunch. In the afternoon, I'm taking you to Montmartre. Montmartre is the artist colony. Let me see if I did that or that. No, I'm leaving you at leisure the afternoon. And after leisure to do some shopping, dinner, and after dinner we're giving you a cruise, an hour-and-a-half cruise on the Seine. You will give you all the landmark of Paris while you are cruising, and that's a beautiful evening to have that. Sunday, the 14th of July, Nevers. I'm taking you to Nevers. It's approximately 3-hour bus ride on each direction. This is the only way. If I want to do Nevers, I have to include that. And that Saint Bernadette, actually, after the apparition in Lourdes, lived with the community of the Sister of Charity in Nevers for 13 years. And the body of Saint Bernadette right in the chapel. So we'll visit the chapel. We'll have Mass at the chapel. And coming back into Paris. So it's a long day that day, going to Nevers and coming back. The last day on the program, we're doing the highlight of Paris. We cannot be in Paris without seeing all the highlights. So that will be taking you for all the landmark of Paris. We'll stop at the Eiffel Tower. We'll give you time if some people wants to go up into the Eiffel Tower, but that will be a photo opportunities that they're going to have that in the morning. And the afternoon is dedicated to Montmartre, the artist colony of Montmartre. I'll give you time. Mass we'll have also at the Sacred Heart in the afternoon. And we'll have the farewell dinner before we come back on the 16th of July. Now, the return flight also, I have that on the program. We're leaving at 12 noon. It gets you to Kennedy at 2:15 p.m. Now, Air France have 6 to 7 flights a day from Kennedy into Paris. However, they have one flight that goes in Paris. There's 2 airports, 2 international airports. Charles de Gaulle, which is the large airport, and the smaller one is Orly. So I'm trying to get you into Orly, so you don't have to be with a huge crowd. I'm choosing the flight that goes in and out of Orly. So much better to come in and, you come in and out. So hopefully I will get that flight. So that flight I will know, as I said, I will know only during the month of August. And I'm trying to do the best for you into that. Just to give you also a heads up, the airfare in July is peak. Honestly, it's peak. You're not going to find individual airfare less than $1,400. That's what more or less the flight's going into that package program. Okay, 8 nights, you have the meals, you have the tour manager, you have the entrance fees. All these are included in the program, in this program for you. Luggage, I don't know if did you luggage? The airline actually allowing to check in 1 piece of luggage, and that piece of luggage is not more than 50 pounds. You cannot carry 50 pounds, it's very heavy. So you're allowed to check in 1 piece and carry on to take with you on the flight. The airline will allow that. The seats, you cannot assign the seats ahead of time. Foreign carriers will not do that. However, they will give us section, and we will use the section more or less as per the rooming list that we have. When you check in at the counter, there will be somebody from our office to help you out to check in. If you have any request or anything, please put it on the email in writing to us, and that will be the best to do. If you have any requirement of food, anything that you cannot eat, anything that you're allergic, all this on the email so we can send it directly to the dining rooms. Okay, and anything you want to tell us about yourselves, just send us that information on. Also, they will pass on a form to you to fill out. We need your passport information. You need more information about you, and simply why we do that. I don't know if you notice on your passport, when you go overseas, you're not allowed to give the passport to anybody But usually they take the passport away from you and they give it to you an hour or two later. Why? The clerk have to fill the information. They're not going to do it where you're standing up. But you're not allowed to give your passport. So that information comes to us. We send it electronically to all the hotels that associated with, so they don't have any business with your passport. All right, so prepare yourself for that. That will be the best. Now, in terms of euro, gentlemen here ask about Europe. Europe goes by the euro. And honestly, the exchange rate now is pretty good. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen a year from now, but it's been going up and down. At one time, it was even. The dollar euro was even, was great. Okay, but today is around $1.10, $1.10 to €1. Okay, so we're losing on it around 10% on our money right now, but it's very good. I hope it will stay by the time you go into that. But if you're definitely going, you want to change euros, I suggest change your euros now if you want to do that. All right, so that will be my advice. I welcome any questions you guys have for me, for Karen, into that. Phil, you're quiet out there. How many what? You mean on going on that, on answer it?
So the question is, how many people can you fit in a room? The hotels in Europe are on the small side. You can request a triple, which means that each room is going to have 2 single beds. If you're a married couple and you would like 1 bed, it says also in the terms and conditions that you can request a bed for a married couple, but you have to submit that. Otherwise, the beds are going to be 2, twin beds separated in a room. So a married couple would need to request that. If you want to have a triple room, you can request that as well. But the 3rd bed is going to be a rollaway bed that they're going to bring into a room. So there are no rooms with 3 full beds or 4 full beds. It's just a matter of bringing in a rollaway bed for a 3rd. And there's no discount for that 3rd person either, because that person is still paying for all of the other services that are included in the package. What it does is it helps save them having to pay a single supplement. I did also bring, I didn't realize that I had on with me, but just a few things that you would eventually get. As I mentioned before, Caitlin's the group manager. You're going to get 3 rounds of communication from our office if you join. The first one is after your enrollment form and deposit comes to us, we process that. It takes about a week to 10 days. Once we have processed your enrollment form and your deposit, you will get an acknowledgement letter, email from our office. And what that says is, we've received your deposit, we've processed your enrollment form, congratulations, you're on the roster. The second round of communication from our offices, as I mentioned before, once we have that size group that we need to travel, then we send out welcome documents, because now this is official. This is, we've got the people and we're going. And that can happen at any time. That could happen, before the enrollment deadline. It all depends on how quickly people enroll. So the second round of communication is the welcome documents. When that goes out, there will be forms in there, one being a emergency contact information form. We just need to know who to contact in case of an emergency when you're traveling. So we ask for that information. We also ask for allergy information. We need to know if there are any mild to severe allergies for anybody who's traveling. If you need specific foods, we can request that ahead of time to the airline and the dining rooms where you'll be having your meals. So you're going to get that with the welcome documents when that comes to you. The third round of communication that you get from Peter's Way Tours is called your final documents. That's where all these little travel goodies come in. You're going to get, this is probably going to be about 100 days prior to departure, and I'm going to assume, because we've done it before, we would come here. Instead of mailing those documents to you, we'll have another gathering like this. We'll bring those documents with you, and we'll be handing them out to everybody that evening. going over again the logistics, how to prepare for departure day, what to do, how to pack, what's the weather going to be like. We'll review all of that information with you at that meeting, and we'll also be giving you, in that packet will be all these little travel goodies. This is a little travel bag, which is nice. It's very compact, but boy, this opens up and you can carry a lot of stuff home in that. So it's nice just to have an extra carry-on bag for when you're returning home, because people usually like to, you know, purchase things when they're traveling. So little extra space on the return. This is we call it the neck wallet. It's a perfect piece for keeping your passport close to you and safe on travel day. It fits nicely in the back pouch. There's a little zipper pocket up here, keeps your money safe, credit cards if you want to keep that on you and close to you at all times. We also provide you with a name badge. It's going to be whatever color Caitlin eventually decides. But this is something that we're going to ask every one of you to wear on departure day, because when you meet your tour manager, ultimately in Lourdes, they want to get to know you. They want to know your names, the color, everything's going to be color coded. You'll have color coded luggage tags so that, you know, to help identify your luggage coming off the carousel, your luggage going into the bus, your luggage coming off the bus. There will be porters at the hotels, so this comes in handy too. You can carry your own luggage, by the way, to and from your room. Some people just like to do that, but we will have porter service where your luggage can be taken up and down to your room for you. So those are the 3 rounds of communication that you'll be getting from us. Any questions about that?
Now, before you said the passport has to be good at least 6 months after the trip,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Correct.
I know it's taken a little time to renew passports.
Mm-hmm.
Were they 6, 8 weeks now, something like that?
It's taking more like 9 weeks, 7 to 9 weeks, and that's for standard service. And expedited is, I think, you can get it in. Even expedited is taking a long time, 6 weeks maybe.
Passport good for 10 years, so try to.
So yeah, you have plenty of time. You have plenty of time if you know you're going to need a new passport. I would take care of that as soon as possible. The valid date would be 6 months after July 17. Mm-hmm. Yes. Excuse me? The question is there a discount for children? There is no discount for children. The airline doesn't give a discount for children. They still need a seat on the bus. They're still, you know, everything is based on numbers to cover the cost of the services that we're providing. So, no, unfortunately, not. Oh, okay. Yeah, the question is, can we request rooms together? So is it a family of 4? So, and you're going to have 2 rooms of 2, and you want those rooms to be close? Absolutely. You would just send that request to Caitlin by email, and she'll make sure that when she's sending in the rooming lists to all of the hotels, she'll request it.
You're looking for a joining room, probably, right?
She could even request an adjoining room, but that's not always available. But 2 rooms near each other is certainly a feasible request. Yeah. Yes. The names of the hotels, they've been requested, and usually whatever we request, we get confirmed. We just haven't gotten the official confirmation. But I'd be happy to let people know what the names of those hotels are that we've requested.
Hotel Mercure.
Mercure.
In Lourdes, and also in Mount Saint Michel. Okay, in Paris, I'm using the Novotel Eiffel Tower. Not far away from the Eiffel Tower, that's the Novotel. Those are the hotels. They're all 4-star hotels. You can look it up in the website. So those are, I'm aiming for those. But here is the trick, just to give you a heads up. This year, the amount of tourists traveling overseas is the 3 years of COVID, nobody traveled. I just came back from Rome. I mean, the lines in Italy, it's unbelievable. It's everywhere you're going. Thank God that you're going next year. I think it's going to calm down. But right now, a lot of traffic everywhere going in. And because of the demand on the hotels, when you put the request to the hotel, they want non-refundable deposit. They don't want to just hold the rooms and not give you the rooms and wait until you pay them. No. They're waiting for the request comes in, you're putting in, give me your money. And that's what they're doing. Also the airline, I mean, this is not secret. With the groups, the airline, once you book and hold 50 seats with the airline requests $100, depends on the carrier. Some carrier $100, some carrier $200 per seat you are holding. You want to make sure, I mean, it's because a lot of people booking and they don't care. I mean, the airline today, the minute you're holding seats, they need a deposit from you. So we are in control. We know what we're doing, and we'll work with you to accommodate you to do the best. As you're not the first time you've been traveling with us for a few times now, and you are frequent flyers with Peter's Way, we'll make sure we'll take good care of you. I'll really promise that, and you will be happy with it. Yeah.
But I do one more point to that point. In the final documents, that will all be listed. All of the hotels, not just the hotel name, but the location, phone numbers, things like that, because that kind of information some people might want to leave behind with family, so they know where you are, they know how to, even though we're hoping that family and friends would, come to Peter's Way for assistance if they need to reach you, but they would also have that information personally. Yes.
I read in some travel books,
Mm-hmm.
when you visit or go on a pilgrimage, the attire for women has to be like skirts or dresses.
Mm-hmm.
What is the attire?
That's a good question, and again, that will also be in a packing list, a suggested packing list, because it's also based on time of year. So you bring up a good point, because you're going to be traveling in the summer when it's warmer, and women might tend to want to wear just.
I know in the Vatican you can't wear shorts.
Right, and for the most part, all holy sites have that same reverence that we want to visit as pilgrims. So the general rule is for women and men, shoulders and knees should be covered. So
You have to be decent. You're entering churches,
capri pants that come below the knee would be acceptable. A sundress is fine as long as you have something covering your shoulders when you're entering the church, basilica, or shrine, Lourdes. So just want to be respectful in that way. Head coverings are not required. Some women still prefer to wear them, but it's not a requirement. And then again, same for men, shoulders and knees. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. No, the deposit is non-refundable, which is why we suggest if you're considering purchasing insurance for a potential medical situation, that you submit your insurance payment with your deposit so that you have that coverage. Some people also ask, can we make other payments, installments, or do we have to wait to make our final deposit? You can make as many installments as often as you like, but you won't be getting a statement indicating that we've received and processed your payment. Now your balance is such and such. You get a final invoice with your final documents that will list all the payments we've received and processed for you and what your balance is due. Yes.
Okay, so I understand the price is around $4,500 cash, right?
Mm-hmm.
On both air and land.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I wanted to upgrade my air. Could I do that?
Absolutely. Yes. So if anybody would like to request an upgrade with airfare, all you would need to do is, requests are not, they're not acted on unless you've already enrolled in the tour. So if you just contacted Caitlin and said, what does it cost to upgrade to business class, to first class, she's not going to be able to work on that for you unless you're enrolled in the tour. She's happy to do it for anybody who has, that she has the enrollment form in. It takes a lot of work to work on something like that, and she's going to do that for anybody who is enrolled, happily.
Just to give you a heads up, a business class, you pay much more than the package price.
Oh, and that's why I'm asking, because I'm going through,
It's over $5,000. Good luck, you get a business class.
I'm in the group cruise, but I upgraded everything else.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, you can request airline upgrades through us. What we can't do is utilize, sometimes if you're a frequent flyer, you have miles and points with one of the airlines, we can't utilize that on a group booking, which is really why people who have those kinds of benefits might want to consider making their own airline arrangements to utilize the benefits, because we can't do that for you. If any questions do come up, you can contact Peter's Away Tours at any time. My name is Karen again. Caitlin will be handling it. So ultimately, she's the one who's going to be answering all of your questions on a day-to-day basis. So, but we're here to service you. So happy to do that. Thanks, Faye.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
The question is, on the motor coach, is there a bathroom? Is there in France?
What?
Is there a bathroom in France? In different countries, there's different...
On the buses, you mean?
Yeah, I don't think there is.
Usually they do not. Even if they have a bathroom, to tell you the truth, if they have a bathroom, the driver have to take care of it. They will tell you broken, or they will stop. You're not gonna
They prefer to arrange a stop.
more than 2 hours the most, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Okay, you want to stop, just the driver will accommodate you. I don't think so. I think the longer rides that you have, the ride that they're going to Navarre is a 3 hours direction, so they're gonna stop. At least they're gonna stop in between after an hour and a half. That's the longest that you have on the trip. But other than that, going into Normandy, we have stops. So we're doing into Chartres, we're going into Mount Saint Michel. The D-Day, it's going to be stops along the way, definitely. Yeah, but I'm not worried about that. Yes.
And that's something that you would just want to maintain that communication with your tour manager. If you sense that you're going to need to stop, let them know as soon as possible, and they'll work that out for you.
And our tour managers are Roman Catholic, very sensitive to our program. Okay, you will like them. Actually, I don't know if you're familiar with Magnificat, the magazine. We're handling Magnificat, and all the Magnificat is a French company. Okay, we handle Magnificat.
They're very picky about their guides.
We do very well with Magnificat as well. So, yeah, we're sensitive to that.
Yeah, the priority is always comfort and safety. So, whatever you need, that's why traveling like this is kind of like a nice way to travel. You're looking out for each other. You have a tour manager that you can go to. Your driver, they all want to service you in the best way possible. So we hope you have we expect that you'll have a wonderful experience. Yeah.
The driver stays with us the whole time, so you'll get to know the driver too. Any other questions? Yes.
So the question is, how is it handled if someone tests positive for COVID during the trip? It's interesting you say that, because COVID is now kind of considered an illness. If I am not feeling well, am I testing or not testing? You only know you have COVID if you have taken a test. It's not testing is not required. So it's only for the individual to know and be sensitive to how they're feeling. What we recommend is if there's a sensitivity to traveling with other people where COVID might happen to someone, Peter always says, you're getting on a flight with 300 people, someone's gonna have COVID. And someone's going to get a cold. So if you feel that you want a higher level of protection, we suggest think of yourself individually, and you can wear a mask and bring a mask and utilize that as your extra layer of protection.
I think my suggestion on a flight, put the mask on. If you are sensitive on a flight, at least on a flight. You know, once you're off the flight, you are with your own group on the bus. But on the flight, you should do that. I use that. I just came back. I do use that when I fly. So you don't know ventilation. You have 300, 350 on the flight. I always put the mask when I fly overseas.
Yeah, even though it's not required, it's just an extra level of protection.
It's not a requirement anymore. You can go anywhere. Nobody will ask you.
You don't. Nobody has to quarantine. That's all of that has been dropped, which is why everyone's traveling.
It is.
Yeah, no, that was a good thing to mention, because it still is sensitive for most people. So
It's our obligation actually when somebody have a COVID on the flight. Our obligation when the group comes back to send email to everyone just to inform you.
just to let you know, we've been informed that somebody traveling with you tested positive for COVID. It's just our responsibility to do that, to let you know. Yes.
The last pilgrimage I went on last summer with one of your competitors probably, they had a website or a site that we could sign up for, and I made gradual payments. I was able to check and see how much they received and how much I owe. And I like that, to see I get an exact amount of what I've already sent in and what you don't have anything like that.
We do have an online payment system, and that we kind of offered to. Did you discuss that with Phil? We do have an option to either handle payments through mail-in or email or whatever, or we do have an online payment portal that we can set up. So that's something that if you wanted us to do, we'd be happy to set that up.
All you need is just send an email to Kate, and in 2 minutes she'll come back to you and
And tell you what your balance is. Yeah.
even before you go into it, she will give you the whole file. Yeah, the personal attention. Yeah. They're doing that because maybe staffing. We have the staffing. They will answer you immediately. That's what I suggest.
I'm sorry?
Can we use an electronic check, or does it have to be a paper check?
I don't know. Do you need an electronic check? Do we?
Then you have to go into the website. If you want to pay by electronic check or credit card, you have to use the website. But if you want to use cash, check directly to us, avoid the extra fees, it's going to be manual. You can wire if you want. That's probably will avoid the credit card. If you want to wire funds, yeah. Just call the office and they will give you the IBAN of our account automatically.
It's not on the credit card, it's your banking information, you put in your banking information, it's like writing a check.
We can check. I can check with our accounts payable person to see if that's a method that she accepts. A money order is similar to a check. Yeah. Yes. Yes, that's the package without the flight is the land only. So it's really everything but the flights, and it states it a little bit more clearly, I think, in the terms and conditions. It also doesn't include the group transfer, because somebody making their own flights could be making flights that comes in an hour after the group or 2 hours before the group. So it's their responsibility, if someone's making their own airline arrangements, basically their responsibility to communicate with our office to let us know what you're doing, so that we can make sure that meeting up with the group goes as smoothly as possible. And there could be additional cost involved in that. So let's say your flight's going to arrive 1 hour after the group is not going to be able to wait. So they'll get on the bus and go. And now we're going to have to coordinate getting you to meet up with the group, and that any additional cost for that would be your responsibility. Yes. Okay, a standard day. Here you go, Peter.
Well, within exception of Lourdes, okay? For example, Lourdes, if the Mass at the Grotto, the Grotto starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what time is the English language, because every hour different language. If we want to go into the English language at the Grotto, if it's 5 o'clock, it's yours. Okay, but usually they start 8 or 9. They don't start 5. Different languages come. English language between 8 or 9 in Lourdes. That's in Lourdes. But all the other program that we have, wake up call. Okay, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, dining room. They will give you 1 hour at the dining room. It's a great buffet breakfast. Enjoy the breakfast. And on the bus at 8 o'clock. That's basically, we'll not get on the bus earlier than that. Only Lourdes, the exception in Lourdes, because we have to go by the schedule and by what's going on into Lourdes. The program is busy. If you looked at it, really, we customize it for you. This is not a secular program. We're visiting a lot of shrines. And if you look at it, it's pretty full, especially for first-timers going into France. And as I said, if you look at the map, you see how much you're covering. You're covering a lot. The program is busy, has to be respected, okay? And the tour manager probably will even telling you what's going to happen on the following day. Maybe you're not listening. They will have a poster at the hotel, what's happening on the following day. Okay, so it's a pretty much good program. So you need this program. We're covering most of the saints of France. So it's a great program, yeah.
No, that's not on the itinerary.
The flight?
No, right now it's 5 hours or 6.
But it's 6 hours ahead of us.
6 now.
6 hours ahead of us, and flying into Paris is 7 hours. Going 7 hours, coming back 8 hours. But you're going to Lourdes. You know, changing flight and another an hour and a half between Paris to Lourdes. Yeah, and those who on land only, just make sure you're getting into Lourdes, not into Paris, because the flight individually from Paris to Lourdes is very expensive. So make sure you have the flight continuing into Lourdes. Yeah.
Yes. Usually you're getting back to the hotel around 5:30. Dinners are about 7:30.
Yeah, I would say 7:30 to be safer.
Yeah.
Because usually European eat late.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we always 7:30 our dinners.
There's usually a little time.
The light procession starts at 9, so yeah, we'll do 7:30, and then you go freshen up and join the crowd and do the light procession.
But each day when you get back after being out all day and seeing all the sights, there's always time for you to freshen up and just get yourself ready for dinner, which will be, again, on the later side. There's nothing we can do about it. It's Europe. Yes. No, it's okay. Oh, no, they should all be, they should all have elevators. Are any of the, they all have elevators, no walk-ups. I was in a walk-up in France once on a pilgrimage, and I was like, oh, my luggage.
If a person needs an equipment while they're walking, is it advisable that they could have that cane that pulls into a chair, or is that impossible?
I mean, people can bring equipment. You'll see in our brochure that if anybody requires, and if you have any challenges physically for walking, we do like to know that ahead of time, just to talk to you a little bit about what the pilgrimage is going to entail in terms of walking and terrain and that. I actually was with a man who did have that. It was a walker that he could then use as his chair. And he made it through France pretty well with that. But he had his wife to accompany him and to assist him. So usually we tell people who need a walker or not a cane, because that would be just something a little bit more common. But if you need assistance of any kind, it is important that you have a traveling companion who's there to assist you, and that you make us aware of what that assistance is that you need, just to make sure that you're going to be okay with the pilgrimage. Oh, yes. The airlines have wheelchairs. And if there's anybody who feels that they want that extra assistance at the airport, we can do that for you. You can request it with Caitlin. If you just think it's more helpful and you want to be able to get the wheelchair to the gate, we can arrange that.
Can I add into that?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, wheelchair on the airline is not a problem. The problem on the tour. Okay, Lourdes, for example, the Shrine of Lourdes, it's not generous. It's a huge shrine. All the hotels are surrounding the shrine. So you're gonna walk to the shrine. You probably by St. Joseph, you walk into the shrine, and everything you're visiting in the shrine, it's gonna be walking. So you're gonna walk, okay? We have Mount Saint Michel. Mount Saint Michel is not easy for anybody who's with a wheelchair, or, it's not generous. I think I need to know if anybody have any challenges in walking or anything. I need to know, and I will be honest. I want everybody to go, but I need to be honest with you. You can do it or you cannot do it, because the program is busy. Okay, it's not simple. The program is busy, or you're gonna delay everyone. Okay, so I need to know about that. If you tell me exactly what it is, talk to me personally. You can call me, my extension. My extension is 11 in the office, and I'll be honest with you on every step on the program. As I said, the program is busy. All right, so I need to know in terms of that. All right?
Yeah, I'll add a word too about it's busy and it is challenging. It is a pilgrimage, and you're going to be walking every day. And the walking isn't going to be like on this nice, smooth, straight terrazzo floor. It's going to be stairs, steps, cobblestone, uphill, downhill. Yeah. So you want to make sure you're in good shape, that you can walk comfortably a mile a day. And actually, sometimes when we do presentations like a month beforehand, we're like, start now, start doing your, getting ready, your training, and work yourself up to a good, amount of walking each day so that you're not exhausted on the pilgrimage.
When we leave from Lourdes, people will be carrying a bottle of water.
Oh, yes. Oh, you're right, because it's in the beginning of the trip. Father just mentioned that when you leave Lourdes, there's going to be a lot of extra water traveling with the group. You just, whatever you can put in your checked bag, because anything that you try to take through security larger than a 3-ounce bottle is going to be taken away. You can check it, yes. It would have to be in your checked bottle. So bring a container that you know is solid, airtight, isn't going to break open inside your luggage, and just, plan that ahead of time, that's how you're going to transport your water from Lourdes. Yes? If animals are allowed to stay in the room? Service animals? In Lourdes. They're so good with when the Malta pilgrimage goes and they have the Malades. I wouldn't be surprised if they, permit service animals, but
Service animals.
Oh, I see. Well, that would be something that you would want to make sure you put on your form about allergies, that you have a severe allergic reaction to dander or whatever. For the most part, the hotels that we're using are not hotels where animals are permitted to stay, so I don't think you have anything to be concerned about. We're always requesting non-smoking rooms, all the time. Yeah.
All hotels are non-smoking.
The question was, what about smoking in hotels? Non-smoking.
Smoking in the past.
Yes, so just to review with the luggage, everyone is permitted one checked bag. We're ultimately going to give you those measurements, but it's standard. They don't really make luggage that doesn't fit those measurement standards. It's all about the weight. So it can't be more than 50 pounds, or it can be more than 50 pounds, but you're going to pay for it. They'll charge you for, overweight luggage, and you'll have to start moving things around. One checked bag and one carry-on, and there's weight limits for the carry-on as well. A carry-on plus, like a small purse is okay.
Carry-on not more than 15 pounds, okay? Especially because the connection flight from the transatlantic going with a wide body, the connection is smaller. It has to go over the head compartment, so I suggest not more than 15 pounds. Heavier than that, probably can take it away from you, checking in for you. Gate check-in, so probably don't have that.
Yes? Can you repeat? If there's medical equipment that's needed, like a CPAP machine, that type of thing, that you have to work through with Caitlin, because she's going to have to inform the airline if there's anything needed with regard to the airline, and then as well in any of the hotel rooms. So, yes, the electrical outlets are different in France. You're going to need an adapter and a converter. You can get that online, Amazon, or at a Target or a Walmart, whatever. Anywhere you can get that. It would say that it's for France. Basically, all of Europe is the same. So you're looking for an adapter and a converter that you can use in Europe. Yes. Yeah, that's a good question. She asked about if you have a backpack with you or you're carrying something with you for the day, because when you leave the hotel in the morning, you're gone for the day. And anything that you want to bring with you, You can leave on the bus, safely on the bus, because you're going to be going, from site to site. And if you don't want to carry a backpack around with you all day, it would be safe on the bus. In terms of getting into holy sites, that's another story. Some sites you probably have to go through like a checkpoint. They're going to check your bag to make sure it's okay before entering. So it is easier in terms of getting around with a large group to just travel lightly, to not carry a big backpack around with you all day if you don't need it. Water is going to be made available to you. It's going to be the summer. You're going to want to be drinking on a regular basis. So you can, pick up a water bottle for €1 on the bus each day if you need for your drinking water. That's the only thing that I can think of that's essential for carrying around. Other than this, if you want, just for easily carrying a credit card or cash. You do not need to carry your passport around with you. That you can keep in your hotel locked in the safe.
The basket, I've never been, it's my first time. Will you give us instructions like what we're going to wear and how the process of that, just so that we can be ready?
Yes, the question is about the baths at Lourdes, and I have to say that I just learned that because up until now, the baths have been closed. And just a group recently, too, we had to give them instructions on what to do. For a while, it was just like using the water to like splash on yourself, that when the baths were closed. But now that the baths have reopened, you'll be instructed. It's an amazing experience. I've done it, and they do it so well. Yeah, Peter said they've reopened them.
That's why Malta takes every year. They take a white body with sick malad to put them in the water. They couldn't do that, so they canceled 3 pilgrimages 3 years in a row. This is the first year that the bath is open, back to normal. Okay, within the COVID period, they will not, the bath is not open. However, the water is available to bless yourself, but to go into the water, it's just opening now.
And it's a very, very organized process.
Normal, I would say. By the time you're going, it's back to normal. It's very organized. Men and women, and they have back into the normal schedule that they have.
Do you have lockers where you can put your stuff?
Very organized.
You go into a big area where they have, at least this is what it's like in the women's side. I have never seen the men's, but I assume it's the same. And they just have a row of like circular curtains. So each woman goes into her little circular curtain area. You take off your clothes, you leave them safely there, and then you have 2 assistants who, it's very dignified. Very, very dignified. You don't feel insecure at all. They treat you with such love and tenderness and respect. And the whole process is amazing. It's beautiful, and it's something that you should definitely consider and look forward to. But there's like a large wrap. You feel like you're being wrapped in a shroud, actually. And they just come and they wrap you before you even know it, so you don't even feel like you're being seen. And then they take you to the bath, 1 on each arm. And then you go down and up, and it's amazing.
It's very quick because thousands of people go.
Mm-hmm.
They baptize you very quickly.
Okay, well, it seems that we've answered all the questions. And again, like I said, feel free to contact the office if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer. Caitlin as well. And Caitlin. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, thank you.
We will have another meeting. We planned this very early, so that's why the airfare is not exactly this right where it should be. So usually you do it less than a year, but because we're celebrating the 100th anniversary, that's why we started now. So that's why we want to get this going. Just as a word of advice, not that I get money for it, Capital One has a credit card that there's no transaction fees, because you have to be careful with your credit card when you do foreign exchange, that they might charge you $5 or $10 every time you use it. And they will also get you euros. I also created a website. I'm sorry, not a website, and that's too advanced for me. An email account so we can keep in touch with each other. If you have questions, I can only answer a limit, but we can certainly pass them on there. All right? Please take extra. And remember, the pilgrimage is open to non-parishioners as well, family and friends. So, thank you.